Fitness fanatics, those of you that almost never miss a workout. I have a fitness tip that's gonna boost your gains. That's right, what I'm about to tell you, for those of you that go to the gym all the time, never miss a workout, are super consistent, the following is going to progress you. Cut the volume of your training down by a third. Seriously, all of you, almost all of you are probably overdoing it. Try it out, it won't hurt you. For the next 2 weeks, take your total volume, cut it down by a third, and you'll probably get stronger, you'll probably get more fit, you'll probably build more muscle and burn more body fat. Give it a shot, watch what happens.
Sum it up, relax. A little bit.
Yeah, wouldn't you say, like, if you, like, somebody who, like, never misses workouts, like, if you could do the one, tell them the one thing that would probably get their body to progress, it's probably that.
Yeah.
I mean, I think this is actually even common with and we would never tell this to our client who struggles with getting to the gym and being consistent, but even the average person who is not a fitness fanatic tends to swing one way or the other. Like, you're either off and you do nothing, right? So you're not a fitness fanatic. So you're not loving it. You have this kind of love-hate relationship with fitness, but then you have these moments where you decide to get on your kick, or you have some competitive thing at work, or you have something that you're getting ready for, a Vegas trip coming up in 2 months. And so now all of a sudden you become a fitness person and you tend to go all in and you're like way overdoing it. And there's a way better approach for you. And then most certainly if you're already a fitness fanatic and you love going to the gym, and you've deemed it your church or your place of, where your mind relax, where you get all this value, you've made an excuse of why you push so hard in the gym all the time. Not to mention, this is like the messaging is in our space, it's been that way for as long as social media has been around, this idea of motivation and no days off. And
it's your whole identity at that point, right? Yeah. You really wrap a lot of yourself into this routine and all the benefits, and you've associated all these things with that whole process. So to step away from that a bit to better your body is a really tough conversation internally.
Yeah, if you've been doing this for a long time and you've been consistent, like really consistent. I'm not talking to the guy or girl right now watching who's like, yeah, I've been consistent for 2 months. Like, okay, don't worry about that. I'm talking about the person who's like, I don't miss workouts. I've been doing this for years. I go on vacation, I work out. Like, I do not skip workouts.
Yeah.
What the tendency, the consistent tendency with someone like that is the following. You work out for a long time, and the consistent tendency is to increase the volume slowly over time till you reach a point of what you can tolerate. And I've said this before on the show many times. What is optimal is not the same as the maximum you can tolerate. The optimal is down here. What you can maximally tolerate is up here. So you might not be overtraining, but you're beyond optimal, meaning you're not going to get the same gains, you're not going to get the same results because your body is more concerned with recovery than it is with adaptation. So if that's you, and this isn't going to hurt anybody, so you got to have a little bit of bravery. I know how it can be when you work out so consistently and it's like what you love, like, oh, what's going to happen if I cut my volume down? Literally, just cut it down by a third. So if you do 12 sets per body part in your workout, do 9. That's it. Just do that. Just cut 3 sets out, or 1/3 of your volume, and then you're going to get stronger. You're probably going to progress. At the worst, at the absolute worst, nothing's going to happen. At the absolute worst, you'll do less and get the same results, in which case, that's also revealing, which is you could do less, get the same results. Now you got more time on your hands, type of deal. But I experience this all the time.
To add to that, most of the fitness fanatics push until they go beyond that threshold, and then when they scale back, they still don't scale back to optimal.
No,
they just scale. They scale back to just below what they can tolerate. So they push, find that line, and it's like, oh yeah, I know what he's talking about. I've definitely been there before, where my joints are hurting, or I actually get weaker, and I'm actually training 6-7 days, and they go like, yeah, so I need to go scale back to 5 days, and I need to pull back a little bit of the volume, and they pull back, and so now they don't have these negative signs anymore. But what they don't even realize is they're still not in the sweet spot.
Right.
So my challenge would be, I challenge you like to MAPS 15. Like, that to me is like two ways that I would say this to a client. Like, how you know if this is something that you would benefit. One, if it scares you to death to reduce to MAPS 15.
Well, there's something there.
There's something there.
You're probably that person, right? Yeah. And then if you actually do it and realize that you not only don't lose any gains, but you actually see some gains from that program, that's a clear indication that you were way on the other side of optimal, and MAPS 15 is closer to your optimal. Even if you could handle potentially a little bit more, it's closer than what you were doing.
Would you say I mean, in terms of like the actual fear of it for somebody like that is because of the fact that maybe too much of it is wrapped into motivation. It's too wrapped into like, I have to be able to hit all these strides, all these things have to keep working out in such a way to where if they don't, all of a sudden they're going to completely fall off the deep end.
Yeah.
Instead of it just being like, you know, what's balanced, what's best for my body, where's that sweet spot lie? Like, how can I like constantly be in a flux of like listening to my body and finding, you know, that hum.
Yeah, I you know, as somebody who, you know, I definitely have a tendency to go in this direction. And I never know what I'm missing until I get there. So you could tell this to me when I'm doing my normal, consistent, whatever workouts. And it's exactly what you said, Adam. I'd be like, well, I'm not overtraining. I know what that feels like.
Yeah.
I feel fine. Everything's good. I've been, you know, I look good. I feel good. And then what ends up happening is I'm typically forced for some reason to scale back on the volume. Or I have this like epiphany where I'm like, what would happen if I just cut things down? Let's just see what would happen. Because I've done this for so long that I've had that experience a few times. And every single time I scale back, oh my God, I'm stronger. Wow, look at this. My body's progressing again. Like, you know, why didn't I do this before? And then what happens is I stay there and then I start to scale up again. Part of it, I think, is fitness fanatics have learned to love the process so much that you just like working out. So it's almost like if you tell, like, okay, here's how you know. If you're a fitness fanatic and you're listening, here's how you know. If I told you could get the same results doing less and you still don't want to do it because you love doing more, you know that there's something going on there, right? Like you tell somebody, hey, what if you get the same results working out in half the time? The person's like, but I love working out for an hour, you know, type of deal. Now you know that you're pushing your body, because here's what and be very honest with yourself if you're listening. Do you find yourself constantly balancing between you know, doing as much as you can and overtraining? Does it feel like you're walking that tightrope? Like, oh, I'm almost overtraining. This is the balance. Almost overtraining. I'm on this line. That line right there is there is a line between overtraining and what you can tolerate. But what is beyond that line is optimal. It's way over here. There's a lot of space between optimal and what you can tolerate. So you can get away with a lot more than what is going to get you the best results. So overtraining is a very clear sign you're doing too much. Not overtraining, it's harder to notice. It's harder to notice because you're still doing too much in terms of results. You're just not doing too much to where it makes you overtrain. This is why I'm saying to people, worst case scenario, if you scale back a third of the volume, again, if you're this like super consistent person, nothing's going to happen. You're just going to notice the same results. You're not going to get any worse shape. That's for sure. We know that for a fact. That's what the data shows.
Right.
But what's probably going to happen to 9 out of 10 people watching this who are in this category, literally 90%, is you'll notice within the first week or two, okay, so you don't have to do this very long. It's not like you have to do it for 6 months to test it out. Within the first 7 to 14 days, you'll see progress. Then you know, holy crap, they were right. They were right.
I also think that it's a way for us to avoid, and speaking to fitness fanatics, including myself in this conversation, I also think it's a way to avoid your insecurities. I think it's really easy when you've got a lot of issues either going on in your life or you were an addict of something else. It's really easy to justify these behaviors because working out falls in the category of good and helping yourself and healthy. And so it's very easy to overdo that in really the pursuit of avoiding what's really going on inside of you.
Developing a dysfunctional relationship with something that's healthy.
That's right.
Is can be very insidious and sneaky.
Very much so.
Because it's a good thing.
Yeah, and it's really hard for no one's going to see you working out 7 days a week, your amazing physique, and you look so healthy and stuff like that, and go like, "Oh, you're so unhealthy because you work out all the time."
That's
like,
an addict.
Yeah. Right. Nobody is going to say that to you.
And to be clear, it is better than being addicted to like something bad.
That's right. That's right. But it's an easy way for us to shield ourselves from these other issues that are going on in our life and justify those addictive behaviors because they have these positive outcomes from it. So I think a lot of that, and let's be honest, we've talked about it on the show many times, that what drove each of us into fitness was an insecurity. Like I didn't turn to the gym and working out because I was like, you know what? At 17 years old, I was like, I want to take care of myself, and this is how I'm going to love myself. I'm going to go to the gym and exercise. And none of us did it that way. It was
like, I'm too skinny.
That's right.
I'm not attractive. I'm
the
too
motivation
fat,
was from a place of an insecure place. And most of us don't solve that. We just build a bigger shell and a stronger shell around that insecurity. And so it's real. And this is most people that I have met in the space that are the best physiques that we all admire, is that they actually have this deeper thing inside of them that this is just shielding that and keeping people from even digging into that or themselves digging into it.
Here's another way. This isn't, by the way, what we're talking about, you got to kind of pay attention to yourself, because sometimes, like we're saying, it might not be so obvious, or you don't want it to be obvious to yourself. So it's easy to lie to yourself. Here's another sign. Do you find yourself working out more and becoming more obsessive about your, let's say, your workouts, your diet, your supplements when you're under a lot of stress? Or do you find yourself kind of backing off when you're under a lot of stress? Now, fitness fanatics who have this type of addictive personality to fitness tend to do more of it.
Right.
When they're really stressed out, I'm working out more. Yeah. I'm working out longer. I'm working out harder. I'm more structured with my diet. I'm more structured with my supplements. This is me. The more stress I'm under, the more the more consistent I am, the more hardcore I get with my training, the more I become obsessed with these types of things. Just like any abusive relationship, so it tends to happen when we get more stressed. Now, the average person gets more stressed. They're like, well, I don't have as much energy to work out. I'm going to take some time off or do the things to relieve that stress. So, and yes, exercise can be a stress reliever until it becomes a stress producer. Right. So, just something to be wary of. Now, I know we're going off into the, into that segment, but literally this, and this, again, I have to sell this. So, and I know, because again, I'm talking to myself. The only way you could sell this to me when I'm not in a state of awareness is to tell me that I'll get better results if I cut the volume down. Then I might even take a chance. Now, if you come to me and say, hey, Sal, you're a little too addictive to exercise, I'm like, whatever, bro. I'm going to keep working out. But if you're like, dude, you could add 50 pounds to your lift if you took a third of the volume off, I might try it out. And that's indeed what tends to motivate me. So even if what we're saying, you're like, whatever, I don't care, that's not me, whatever. If you want to get better results, if you haven't missed a workout in like 6 months or a year or longer, for sure, cut your volume down by a third, watch what happens. Yeah. And a third is a good number to start with.
This is the same process for me selling mobility to athletes or selling mobility to any of my clients, because nobody want to do it. But if you want to look at it as a way of a performance enhancement and you're going to get stronger and your lifts are going to go up and everything, if you discipline yourself to do this because you don't like it, it's going to transform you. And so but you need to hear a different angle to a lot of these things that are good for you sometimes.
Well, and to address the people that I know that are shaking their head right now and be like, that's a stupid idea, I would never do that. I know that if I were to stop doing that or reduce that it would make me less consistent. And I know how important the consistency is, so that there's a way to reduce the volume dramatically, but still keep your consistent behaviors of going to the gym and working on yourself and taking care of yourself. And now, instead of it being a hour to hour and a half high intensity workout 7 days a week, you go to the gym still for an hour and a half, but now half hour, 45 minutes of that is you doing mobility and stretching work, or you walking on a treadmill,
you can
or
stay busy, just do good things,
reading, or you doing a lot of other things that serve you and take care of you and make you a better version of yourself. But, cutting back dramatically on the punishing yourself in the lifting weights arena and doing other things that will support you. So keep the habit up, keep the consistency up of going to the gym or carving that time out for yourself, but learn to shift it away from not always beating yourself up in order to quote unquote feel good, and actually do things that are more recuperative or growing you in different ways.
So that's kind of what I do. So you know what I do? So let's say I'm going to do a workout with, let's say, 20 sets in the workout, and it takes me an hour. Well, now I'll cut it down to, let's say, 12 sets. Still takes me an hour. I just take way longer in between sets. So now I know, I see the clock. I got way more time. I'm doing less volume.
Totally different intention.
I'm still in there. I'm just taking longer in between sets and, thinking about things, or, what I'm going to do with the workout, or maybe foam rolling or something like that in between, a little bit of stretching, and then I'll go into the exercise. So a lot of different ways to do it. But look, I'll say this again. I mean, we're selling it, but we're not lying. you will get better results. You will. You're going to get better results if you try what we say and give it a shot. Give it a shot for a week or two. Watch what happens. By the way, this is why I've made this case before talking to other entrepreneurs of other businesses and other people that some of the best salespeople in the world started in gyms. It's because if you want people to, if this is for the coaches and trainers listening right now, if you want to be really effective to get people to adopt certain behaviors, you have to learn how to sell them very well. So I'm trying to sell a fitness fanatic on why they need to do less. Well, I could tell them it's bad for you. You got a bad relationship with exercise. Fitness fanatics don't give a shit. They don't care. But if I say, hey, you're going to get better gains, you might build more muscle, get leaner, now I might get your attention a little bit. I'm not lying. I'm telling the truth. I've just sold it to you a little bit better. So coaches and trainers listening, when you're talking to your clients, like Justin said with mobility, most people don't care about mobility because they care about fat loss. They care about muscle building. Unless they have pain, nobody cares about mobility. How can I sell mobility to a client? I can tell them about how mobility contributes to fat loss and muscle gain. Now they're interested. And guess what now? They're getting the mobility that I wanted to get in the first place.
Speaking of the coaches and trainers, Doug, what is the name? It was so long ago. It's been like, 4 years, maybe more, when Sal wrote that incredible guide for coaches and trainers. It's absolutely free. We haven't talked about it in forever.
We haven't talked about it.
And I remember when you first did it, like all the great feedback that we have from it. It's on our mindpumpfree.com. But what was the name of do you remember the name of the title of the
It's at mindpumpfree.com.
Andrew, you know it?
How to become a successful personal trainer.
That's how to become a successful personal trainer.
Yeah, it's at mindpumpfree.com, and it's a great free white paper that he wrote a long time ago, and we never talk about it. I've been meaning to bring it up the next time you brought up coaches. You just reminded me, so take advantage of that for sure.
All right, today's giveaway, the RGB bundle, MAPS Anabolic, MAPS Performance, and MAPS Aesthetic. Here's how you can win those programs. Leave a comment below this video in the first 24 hours that we drop it. Subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications. If you win, we'll let you know in the comment section. These are also the final hours for the June MAPS workout program special. MAPS Cardio, half off. The Shredded Summer Bundle, half off. And the Bikini Bundle, half off. If you get here in time and you want to take advantage, just click on the link at the top of the description below. All right, back to the show. All right, so I want to tell you guys about, again, talking about fitness fanatics, bad relationship with stuff. And, this is a tricky, this relationship we have with mphormones.com for me is a little tricky because you guys know my relationship with supplements and shit like that. So now I have access to all these peptides and all this stuff. So I have a lot of fun. I'm also a little careful. Don't want to do too many things at once. So I'm trying to try one thing, see how it works, try another thing. So I tried a peptide called Tesofensine, okay? I did this about, I want to say 3 months ago. Took it, and what it is, people use it for fat loss because it's got some fat loss effects, plus it's got some appetite suppressing effects and some energy boosting effects. And people are talking about it. I'm like, let me give this a shot. I took it, made me feel crazy. I went off of it. Anyway, contacted our people, and I said, all right, what's the deal? Like, I felt like literally like it was like something was wrong. They said, oh, the dose is way too high. You got to go much lower. So I took the dose down a quarter. So I seem to be very sensitive to it. Amazing. This is an amazing peptide. So Tesofensine is known as a dopamine, norepinephrine, serotonin reuptake inhibitor. Okay.
So is it nootropic?
So what it does is it increases circulating levels in the brain of dopamine, norepinephrine, and serotonin. Now we know what serotonin does. So SSRIs, selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, are antidepressants. So serotonin will make you kind of feel better, a little bit more relaxed. Norepinephrine is a stimulant, kind of fat burning type of a catecholamine or chemical. So if you have high norepinephrine, almost feels like caffeine. Dopamine is a motivator, a driver. It makes you want to do things. So all those go up at the same time. And what typically people experience is better mood, more energy, kind of clear focus.
So it promotes more activity throughout your day?
You just have more energy. That's what you're supposed to do, right? You're supposed to feel more energy, sharper, better verbal fluency, some fat loss. A lot of people report fat loss. In fact, it got researched as a Parkinson's, Alzheimer's drug initially to help with cognitive performance. They noticed people lost weight on it. So, of course, what do you think they're going to weight loss, way bigger market, right? So they start marketing it that way. So anyway, I took the dose way down, started taking it. I'm now on day, 10. Now I love it. The high dose I did not
so
like.
right away,
I felt crazy on the high dose.
Right away, my concern would be, is that one of those ones that you would recommend cycling on and off? Because I don't want, and does this happen? Like, is it going to reduce what the body naturally produces of all those things? Like those are all really important to feeling good, not feeling depressed and stuff like that. So of course it has positive effects when you're taking it, but then if you come off of it, is your body still going to produce the same amount, or will it down regulate?
No. So with anything that is a reuptake inhibitor, you want to you work with the people that, the professionals, and what you do is you go on it, see how you feel, and if you ever want to go off, there's a scaling down process.
So you do.
You don't just stop.
So you do need to do that, because then you will feel that.
Yeah. Well, you might. Some people don't, but you might. So you want to always. So some peptides are like that, where you go on and you go off. Most of them are like that. Some of them you kind of scale down. Like dihexa is the other one, the nootropic. C-Max is another one, nootropic. You don't just stop it. Right. You kind of...
See, I had no problems starting and stopping those.
I noticed C-Max when I went off cold turkey.
Yeah.
You both said that.
I was cloudy for like 4 days.
So what's interesting is, and maybe that's the unfortunate part for me, is maybe I feel less of the positive effects, but then I also don't get as much of the negative effects.
Could be.
So like I feel at C-Max for sure, I think of the nootropic world of peptides has been my favorite of all the ones. Dihexa was kind of like meh about that. But none of them have made me feel really bad on. I don't feel dramatic. C-Max, I do feel sharper. I do like it. But I also stopped it for quite some time and didn't feel like, oh man, there was a huge, drop off or.
Yeah, that's interesting too. I wonder what the drop off is for people that don't get that dose right, or work with their physician to really like maximize that, and like they just like abandon it, and sometimes it is like it's.
So I'll tell you, because that's what I experienced. So I was taking, I don't want to say what the doses are because I don't want people to copy me. You want to work with somebody.
Yeah, this is all working with your physician.
Well, keep in mind too that the relationship we have with our partners at mphormones.com is we work with the doctors there. They also know what our goals are. They also know that we talk about these products. So we kind of can try different things so that we can communicate them. I don't want to communicate something that I haven't necessarily experienced myself, because you never know, right? And they also know, and I've communicated to them like, hey, I love this stuff. Make sure I feel it or whatever. So I think what they do with me is they just give me the highest dose, because they know Sal loves this shit or whatever. So that's what happened. I took the highest dose, and I think it was too much dopamine. I really do. I had symptoms of too much dopamine. I felt it was too much. I felt too much of that drive. My sleep was off. I felt like I was like just crazy is how I felt. It's too much. Edgy, right? It's got a long half-life. So when I stopped, it naturally weaned itself down, because the half-life is like 6 days. So you take one today.
Wow.
It takes like 6 to 10 days for it to be out of your system.
So is that all you're taking, is just once a week?
No, I took the dose down from what they were giving me to a quarter. So it's a quarter of what I initially
So once a month?
No. I take a quarter. It was supposed to be one capsule a day.
I know, but if
now it's a quarter of a capsule.
Yeah, but so if the half-life is 6 days though, why take it every single day still?
Because it maintains more of a consistent.
Well, if you do that, it would also.
That's not necessarily
compound.
No, it does, but you keep it at a consistent level if you take it on a daily basis versus taking one, waiting till it drops down, then take another one.
Okay.
But anyway, at this dose, it's pretty amazing. It definitely's got antidepressant kind of productivity producing effect. Justin, I think you would absolutely love it.
Yes,
I think you would
sounds
love it.
right up my alley. I know I've been experimenting with the MAPS and really liking it. Initially, and here's the other thing why I said that too, because there was like a little bit of a period where when I would go to inject and I'd have a little bit of a skin rash and but the effects of it afterwards were just like I could feel it, like it was substantial, and so I was like, maybe I'll give it a few more. And it took a couple times, and then I don't get that same response. So it was interesting.
So it's interesting because some peptide, the way that some peptides work is they kick certain processes
like a
into gear.
Response or something.
They kick certain processes into motion. They get your body to work the way it's quote unquote supposed to, and then you can go off. And then those things maintain. So what you'll notice when you I don't know about you, when I did MAPS, I was like, oh my God, I feel so good.
Yeah. And
then gradually over time, it just kind of just felt normal. And then I went off and now I feel like normal. It's not like I went off and I noticed nothing.
Right.
Unlike C-Max where I went off completely and I could tell that would be something I want to wean down.
Yeah.
Tesofensine would be like that as well. You'd
Okay.
want to take it and then go down. But like I said, the nootropic kind of like uplifting effects from it, like way different. So I'm glad I tried it again at a lower dose.
It's interesting how that has a fat loss effect to it, the whole thing.
It's a norepinephrine.
Yeah.
Norepinephrine is a fat burner.
What one was it? What was the one you were talking to Dr. Seeds about that had, I can't remember, it did something with the mitochondria. I don't know if it like repaired it faster or it enhanced it. There was one that did that. I don't remember what it was though. I heard you guys talking at lunch. Do you remember?
I think it was Motsi.
Oh, was it
I think
Motsi?
it was Motsi.
Motzi's, yeah.
So what is
mitochondrial? Yeah.
Is that what it does?
Motsi was identified because it's released in muscles post-exercise.
Okay, I
And
think-
it increases insulin sensitivity.
Okay.
And it improves mitochondrial function. So what you'll notice, if this is something that you need, because some people would take it, I would imagine, and not notice anything. But if this is something that you need, you'll take it, and it's not a stimulant. It's not. Doesn't feel like I took a stimulant. I just feel good. That's all. I just felt good energy.
I wonder then if you paired, because you guys are both on Motsi right now.
I stopped that.
Oh, you did.
Yeah,
So
I'm
you
trying
are.
not to be on
You
Twitter.
know what I'd love for you to do right now, if you have the discipline to do this, is consistently use your Juve with it and see if that
Because they both affect mitochondria.
That's why I asked that.
Yeah. I think so. The way that the way that red light works, it would work with anything. Red light is totally different. So red light's not a peptide. You're not taking a substance.
Yeah, I mean, I know.
It signals your cells.
Just an external signal.
Yes, it signals your cells to do more of what they do, to basically turbocharge themselves. So you can take whatever you want and combine red light therapy with it, and it's going to be better, no matter what.
Yeah, okay. But I mean, if you have something that's directly like Motsi affecting the mitochondria, and then you have something like Juve, which makes it run better too, I would have think that the results that you feel from that would be enhanced more than anything else. Although everything else would positively affect everything. We've talked about creatines, doing your creatine when you do it, everything. I know.
Yeah,
that.
so essentially, this particular wavelength of light signals the cell to basically do more of what it does, and to basically to
up production, right?
to act like a younger version of itself.
Yeah.
Okay, that would be a good way to put it. By the way, it's the research on red light therapy goes back decades. This isn't like some weird. You know what I just read, by the way? You know what their red light therapy is good for? Sunburns. Sunburns reduces inflammation and speeds up healing.
Well, I mean,
So if you have a sunburn,
back to your point about your cell,
the efficiency of the cell,
Right.
what they're doing.
because that's what it's having to do is repair from it's done damage, right? The sunburn is damage to the skin, which on a cellular level is
part of me would have not put it on a sunburned skin. Part of me would be like afraid to
Oh
do it.
yeah, no, you're right.
I would have not done that.
Because heat doesn't sound like a good idea, and it feels like it emits a little bit of heat.
Yes, because I looked it up because we're going to be on vacation soon, and I'm going to be in the sun. I'm like, I wonder, and I just thought to myself, I'm like, I wonder how red light therapy would affect a sunburn. Sure enough, there's studies showing reduces inflation, speeds up healing.
That's interesting.
Of sunburn.
So what's the one peptide that also like increases melanin? Production and
melanotan.
Put those all together.
Yeah, well, I just wonder if like with that, if it because it's a protective for UV.
I just can't help but picture him coming in one day like
I'm just so brown, dude.
Like this deep chocolate brown color. Like,
oh my god,
his lips are all outlined.
I feel like we get canceled like immediately.
Yeah,
just like
so
right as
they
I
do
like, sat in my
blackface.
seat.
Hey, it's not blackface. Just took
hey,
peptides.
You're not allowed to do that, sir. I'm like what, dude? I'm taking a peptide. Looks great, right?
Justin walks in. Hey Sal, wait a minute.
Like no,
That's
no,
Justin.
no. This is not appropriate.
No, what you're talking about is the ones that like melanotan is one, PT141 was the other one, but so that they researched to help people tan. Side effect being like high libido. So what do you think they advertise
oh my
it as?
God. Yeah, of course.
So
you're gonna drive
it's a libido booster.
Dude, what do you think the percentage of supplements, hormones, drugs were created for something completely different and then marketed
turned
and sold
into
for
sex?
A lot.
A lot, right?
A lot.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that people don't even realize that. I mean, even like insulin, things like these. A lot of these things that we use on a regular basis.
Well, they'll just make more money. That's what it is.
It was researched or
minoxidil was to lower blood pressure. Oh, look, these guys are growing hair. Boom, hair regrowth. Viagra, these are called PDE5 inhibitors, were for blood pressure.
Yeah.
But then the side effects, because people report, right, when they do test subjects.
Yeah.
They're like, so
Oh,
write
everyone's
down
like, I got
any
a
side
hard
effects.
on like crazy.
Yeah. They're like, well, literally had a very modest, reduction in blood pressure. And he's like, yeah, what did you notice? Well, I got like boners all the time. What?
Yeah.
You're the fifth guy that said that.
I was rock.
There's a big market there for that.
Yeah.
So that's another drug that does. I'm trying to think.
There's quite a few that like I know that it started like something completely different, and then we ended up marketing for something else. You know?
It'd be interesting to see.
Like I said, Tesofensine. It was Parkinson's and Alzheimer's, and they pulled the trials because too many subjects were losing weight. So then they stopped the trial. This isn't good for Alzheimer's. They're losing weight. They're like, wait a minute,
weight loss drug. Boom.
Yeah.
What's the origin of creatine? What was the reason why we originally studied it?
They knew what creatine did. They isolated it in meat. They knew, and they knew that it increased ATP. So really, it was.
Was it a muscle building though out the gates? Was it right away thought to be that?
Energy.
Just energy in
Yeah,
general?
just energy.
Okay, so we knew that one.
Yeah.
Trying to think what else I
That's a good question, though. I wonder, maybe
There's
Doug, you
probably
could look
a
up.
list of all those.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot. I know we're not thinking of all of them right now, but I know there's been so many where I'm like, damn, that wasn't even for that either. That's crazy.
Yeah, well, I mean, they don't know how some drugs even work. Like they'll have a drug for one thing and it helps for something else, and then they'll prescribe it for that, not really knowing what it's doing.
There's been some like HIV drugs that they've changed.
That's right.
Yeah, like I'm pretty sure that it's made it in the market as a different thing.
Did you guys know that antidepressants oftentimes relieve people's back pain? So sometimes,
Oh wow.
yeah, they'll notice like, oh, my back pain's gone, and so they'll give people low dose antidepressants.
What do you
for
think
shit
that
like
is? I have a theory.
Well,
Oh well, come on, dude. Pain.
pain. Yeah, you could like attribute like I don't know what the percentage wise, but definitely it starts in the mind, right?
Well, there's a physiological like we could.
I mean, there's an
identify-
example. I mean, a perfect example of what you were saying right now is everyone's had this happen in their life one time where you cut your finger or you do something, stub your toe, you do something like you don't look at it for a minute or two, and then you look at it and then you see the blood or you see something that looks really bad, and then instantly the pain comes on afterwards, but like up until that point you don't feel it the same way. So it's an example of how you perceive things.
Well, look, there's a like I could
See that in kids all the time.
we could look at like if I hit your quad, like we could look at the quad and see what's happening there and see the pain, chemicals and inflammation and the the nociceptors and all that shit getting activated, and it goes to the brain, right? And then there's your perception of the pain.
Right.
There's a big difference between how some people perceive pain and how other people perceive pain.
Yeah.
In fact,
Well, there's been knee surgeries where people don't even get the surgery.
Here's your extreme.
my favorite experiment.
Here's your extreme example. There's a lot of people out there. There's a lot of people out there who get turned on by pain. You think to yourself, why? And let me tell you, I could get crazy.
Well, it's a whole category.
Yeah, where people beat the shit out of each other, literally whip each other, and I mean, you see marks and bruises, and they're like, "Oh my god, that's just so hot," right?
Yeah.
Whereas I look at that, I'm like, "What? That hurts."
Yeah.
I also think that posture. We
Safe
know
word.
about what depression does to people. They slouch, their head comes forward, they roll forward. That is only going to make low back pain. So if you have any sort of like an anterior pelvic tilt or any sort of issue with your low back, and you're also rounded and forward, that's going to cause that. So just simply getting more upright posture. If you're in a better mood and you're positive, you're more likely to be standing taller, walking better, which I also would probably compound
There's
that.
probably a multitude of factors. to that.
Yeah. So I know, and I wonder. There's a lot of drugs out there. I can't think of off the top of my head, but I know that there's quite a few out there that they're off-label use because they see that it works, for something else. So like birth control. You know how often they prescribe. I don't know if they do this as much anymore. Do you know how often they prescribe that to girls for shit like acne?
And
And I mean, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
And
or
if
like
they have like
excessive-
really heavy bleeding, they'll do it.
Oh, here, we'll fix it. Go on some hormones.
Or even if it's just irregulars, you're not on your regular 25-day cycle or whatever like that, they'll do it. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why they prescribe it.
I know it's kind of crazy.
I got a funny story for you guys. So
What you got?
So we have Max's birthday's coming up, right? His 4th birthday's around the corner.
Dude, I can't believe he's going to turn 4. I can't believe it.
It's crazy.
I don't know how quick that.
Do you know he's going to be 10? Like it's going to happen so
Oh,
fast.
don't say that. Jesus, we're slow down. We're 4 is here. Okay, so 4 is here. So
fast.
So Katrina and I are talking about and he's like really into the thing now is Mario Brothers, right? And my son, this is kind of funny too. I haven't told you guys this. He likes villains. So Bowser is his favorite character, right? So there's something else that he likes. He likes
horror too and scary shit.
Yeah, and he likes villains, so he tends to gravitate to, which is so weird because he's such this sweet little boy and everything. But Katrina points it out, zombies, things like that.
Yeah.
But he always he doesn't want them to be evil or bad. He doesn't like that. He always says it's a good zombie. It's a good, it's a good skeleton. Yeah, it's a good It's the happy Bowser's happy. Like he always makes these villains happy. So
That's interesting.
yeah, it's really interesting, right? So, anyways, we're planning this big Mario Brothers thing, and Katrina's like, I want to do a piñata this year, and I'm like, really? I said, our son's really not like aggressive like that, where I don't see him breaking it like that. She's like, well, he's getting into swinging the baseball bat. Maybe we can do it. I said, okay, I'm fine with that. And she goes, so I'm trying to figure out how I want to fill it. And you guys, obviously we don't give him a lot of sugar, candy, things like that. So it's like, having a piñata full of candy is probably not a great idea. So she's like, I'm going to fill it like what we did with his last birthday, where, a lot of parents give kids little, bags on their way out to a birthday party or not, and they fill it with candy and goodies and stuff. So we did that, but we did all toys.
Oh, like little favors.
Yeah,
like
Easter, we did the same thing too. His Easter basket was full of toys and coloring books and things like that. So we're always trying to think of alternatives than just a whole bunch of sugar and candy. And so she shows me all these cool little toys and things like that. Well, she's sharing this with her one of her best friends, Christina, who's also a fan of the show. She's super health conscious. Her kids are like, she's been like on them since day one, eating whole foods and a strict diet. And she goes, oh, we did that the last birthday. And she goes, I filled it with like beef jerky snacks, all these things like that. And Katrina's, oh, really? How did it go? She goes, well, there was 8 kids, and when it broke open, they all rushed in, and then they saw what it was, and all 8 kids literally walked away and left all the shit on the ground. I'm like, oh God, honey, I don't want to be that bad. I'm like, maybe throw some jawbreakers in there or something, like a few things. So I was like,
kid, they're like, it's so-and-so's birthday.
No,
I'm not
dude.
going to his house.
She said literally it broke and it all scattered out. The kids rushed in. They looked at she said they kind of looked at all of
Rice
it. And
cakes.
And they all just walked away.
Boxes of raisins.
They all just walked away and just left it all there. I'm like, oh God,
no.
dude. I'm like, don't
do that.
No, and I'm like, I don't want to be that. I'm like, you got to throw some things in
I
there.
think toys is perfect.
Well, you know what's
Little
cool?
kids love toys.
So, and here's the thing. Max has obviously had sugar, cookies, candy. He's had a lot of things now, right? So we haven't, he's not, I was getting asked this the other day in my DMs because I did that video of him taking the bite of cotton candy with me. And of course, everyone freaked out. Like, what? You gave him sugar now? I'm like, yeah, I absolutely. He's had, we do make protein, healthy cookies, and that's the cookie versions that he's had. And we do make our own homemade type of ice cream that's not real. So he's had a lot of that stuff, But I mean, and cotton candy is, a serving of a whole thing of cotton candy, 180 calories, and he had a couple bites with me. But what's cool is that we were so consistent with that, with introducing sweets so gradually, slowly. Even the sweets he did have are extremely mild or low, that he doesn't, the cotton candy, he took 2 bites, he was cool. That little video I did of him, he wasn't like, I want more of it. So what's nice is that we've been able to introduce these things when we feel the time is appropriate in the setting. We're at a big family barbecue. There's a cotton candy machine. I'm not going to not let my son enjoy on the festivities. I'm going to go do it with him. We're going to have fun with it. And he doesn't crave it and act all crazy.
Does he like Hot Wheels cars and stuff?
Yeah.
So what if you put Hot Wheels cars in there? Little bouncy ball, stuff
that's what she has already planned. She has Mario Kart things, wristband things.
Because my kid,
but I mean,
my kid would lose his mind if a piñata opened and cars came out.
Oh, so I know.
Literally lose
so
his
I
mind.
know Max will too.
Okay,
because he's already been trained that way.
Okay.
Well,
I think all kids love that shit. Cars and stuff.
I don't know. I mean, most normal kids associate a piñata with candy.
Yeah.
So if you're old enough to associate what a piñata is, and you go to a party and
you just sprinkle in a little, right?
That's what I'm going to do. Literally, we're going to put like little Smarties or something that's within there, so they see that and that's in there, but it's not
so those little crack fiends can get their fix.
Yeah, and then and then my son will be riding all the cars. So that's if it goes well, everybody else's kids get the handful of candy that's in there. But I just thought it was funny because we thought that would be a great idea. Her girlfriend had already done it, and I was like, oh, that would be so embarrassing.
All the kids just walk
if
away.
all the kids walk away.
So
and
you took him to see the movie, right? And then is he obsessed with the Peaches song?
So, bro, you have no idea.
Yeah, because my kids even are will sing it all the time.
The Jack Black song is it went crazy viral. That's all that is playing on our TV right now. So we moved away from the Afro Jack fucking terrible.
A little bit of an upgrade, right?
It is an upgrade.
Yeah.
I actually don't mind it. But there's a song where Jack Black is Bowser.
Peaches. Oh, that song. Yeah. Oh,
and he's singing to Peaches because he was a marry her or whatever like that. So So I actually was on the hunt. So for his birthday, I got that Bowser where he's in the white tuxedo to marry Peaches, and didn't real like he's like a collector. Like, oh wow. So I'm gonna do this thing. Okay, tell me if you guys think this is weird or not. So Katrina thought it was kind of weird. Toys like that come from like a movie that was made, a very special, like, oh, it's in his white suit, like it's already like hard to find and expensive. I had to get it at like some other place.
Collector's item.
So I bought 2. And one of them, obviously, I'm wrapping and giving to him for his birthday and stuff like that. And I'm actually going to put away the other one. That's cool. I'm going to do this throughout his life when I buy these kind of like one-off type of toys that are something he's really into for 2 reasons. One, I think when he's 18 years old, older, and I can show him like this is what you were into when you were 4 or 3.
This is your favorite toy.
Like that. I have it.
That's a cool idea.
A little bit of nostalgia, and then also the fact that it could actually be worth some money because a lot of times those one-offs like that of those toys, and I'll keep it in the package.
He probably won't be interested when he's 18. I'll just tell you that much. It's gonna happen when he has his own kids.
Yeah, maybe when he's 25 or 30.
That's when he has his own kids. Right. Like, hey, this is what you love, and then he'll give it to his kid.
Right, and so I think it'd just be cool. I mean, they're not ridiculously expensive right now, so buying 2 of them is like not a big deal, and I'll just kind of put it to the side.
What happened? There was definitely a transition where hitting piñatas was no longer like you get too old. Like, why did we stop doing that?
I love it, dude. Yeah.
Destroy a piñata.
We did it for a long time.
They should make an adult one. Yeah, you know what I mean? That's hard.
They do make them like that.
You just see a lot of fail videos where somebody's like trying to adjust something and
they get blasted.
Whack.
So do you guys remember as kids when you were little, hitting a piñata was all about like how fun it was? And then there was a point where you get old enough to where this is a flex. Yeah. Where you're like, oh, I'm gonna hit it the hardest.
Oh yeah.
All the little girls are gonna see how strong.
Yeah, and then when you do that, I'm like,
swing and hit air. Let's see who can hit it the hardest. It was all about like who's.
Yeah, I don't remember. Do you remember the last age that you had a piñata for yourself? I don't remember how old I was, but we definitely were old enough to bust that sucker open with one swing.
Oh yeah,
connected.
Still be doing piñatas. We should still be trick or treating on our own. Right, guys.
Mm-hmm. You mean now?
Yeah,
trick or treating now
as adults.
Creepy, bro. Hey, give me candy at a door. Call the cops.
But for Jello shots.
That's not a bad idea.
Actually, I was at a place.
Aren't there neighborhoods that do that?
Yeah.
Where you bring your kids.
Really?
Yeah. It's
your kids get candy, and because all the neighbors know each other, and then they give the adult like a glass of wine or something like that.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. It's not like YMCA. It's kind of like a YMCA camping thing. We went one year where like everybody had their own kind of camp setup. And so the kids did the whole thing, and then the parents actually had like some kind of like a small like unique drink or something that you could take as you were walking around because everybody was just staying there and sleeping. So
that's cool.
It was kind of a good idea. But
yeah, anyway. I like that. I like that. With what trick or treating is and Halloween is the value in the back in the day was you knew your neighbors. People don't even stay in their neighborhoods anymore. They go travel to the best neighborhood.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, that's what we did.
Yeah, it kind of sucks, right?
I lived on the other side of the tracks growing up. So you don't want to go it's fucking nothing but Almond Joy and Mounds. You know what I'm saying? That's all you got. Yeah, bro. Or candy corn. Almond Joy and Mounds and candy corn. If you stay in our neighborhood, I was heading over the golf course where they get king size Reese's, the king size Butterfingers,
raisins and pencils. That's where I was at, dude. A bunch of hippies, dude. To your point of like getting pissed. I remember going to those houses and we'd egg them later.
Yeah, that's what I feel about this birthday party. I'm like, I feel like there's a balance of how I could still, there's gonna be sweets there, right? So we have a snow cone machine coming, but also another thing I can control, right? I can give him ice with just a little bit of that on there, and my son won't know the difference. Like he'll be fine, feel like he's involved in it. A little
grenadine.
But I don't want the kids to be like never want to come to Mr. Schaefer's house because we're gonna get a shitty piñata. Yeah. So I gotta.
Don't go there. They have banana bread for the cake. Screw that place. I had a friend like that. Anyway, so I was reading some fitness studies on rep speed. So I wanted to bring this up because it's an interesting observation. So traditionally studies will say that time under tension is closely correlated or related to like muscle growth and progress. You want to have controlled reps when you're lifting weight. But then there's some studies that counter that show that faster reps also build muscle. Sometimes maybe
totally
more.
Different response.
It's that, but it's also this. This is the speculation that I have. When you see people doing faster reps, I'm not talking about like Olympic lifting where you drop the weight, but I'm talking like bodybuilding faster reps, right? Think of the torque and tension on a muscle when you have to change directions because of the faster descent. So, when you're descending with 100 pounds and you change directions, it becomes slightly heavier for a second. If it's a faster rep, it becomes much heavier. And what it does is it loads the stretch typically.
Sometimes you produce more force too in your fast twitch movements.
Yeah. So
because you have to.
So people who understand how to control fast reps, because bodybuilders have been talking about this for a long time. There's a lot of bodybuilders out there that say, no, I like to live faster and I get great results. I think it has more to do with that. It creates more tension because of the change of direction and the speed of the negative.
I mean, I really thought that was one of the biggest advantages that I had. I did all that stuff. Like when I looked around at my peers, like so many people train like just the traditional bodybuilder, 90-degree angles, not doing deadlifting and squatting, not doing anything Olympic movements or explosive at all. It was like, it's crazy to me to think that if your sport is all about building muscle, sculpting your physique, that you would not use all the tools in your arsenal. And those are all tools to building a better body, not just performance, but also for sculpting because you're building muscle.
Yeah.
Right? So
they're also skills. So anything you practice, part of you getting better at it is that you develop a skill of it. So if you've been doing this for a long time and you want to be able to reap the benefits of just a wider variety and breadth of training, then it's good to practice and learn the different skills. Because if you always train slow, you're going to suck at fast and vice versa. In fact, one of my favorite things to see or watch is a bodybuilder try to do a kettlebell swing. They can't.
That's your favorite? Yeah.
It's so funny. Yeah. It's an upright row because they don't understand
it's a squat
speed.
Raise.
Yeah, it's a squat front raise. Yeah, or upright row type of deal, right? So,
Yeah, well, and to piggyback on that, it's injury preventative, right? So like most of the times if you are just training in this slow, like tension-based rep count, right? Like you experience something in life where you have to move quickly, you got to adjust yourself, you got to catch yourself,
get hurt.
Boom, done.
Yeah,
you're going to tear something.
Here's another thing that I was just reading about is that, and I think we know this, right? There's different signalers of hunger. Obviously, you need more food. You're lacking a nutrient. Emotions can trigger hunger. But here's one that a lot of people don't know about because this typically only happens in the healthy population or people who are health-oriented or health-minded. Lack of sodium. So, and this is common when let's say you go from a heavily processed food diet
and then you make your meals
to a whole natural food diet. And then you're like, Mind Pump said eat more protein, go whole natural foods. Why do I have these crazy cravings?
Yeah.
You don't realize that you just went from 3,000 milligrams or 4,000 milligrams of sodium a day down to 1,000 because whole natural food, even if you salt it, it's got way less sodium. It just does. And if your sodium intake goes too low, your body will make you hungry to seek it out. So it's very true if you don't eat heavily processed foods. So if you're like really regimented with your diet and you're noticing cravings, try increasing your sodium or supplement with like a electrolyte powder like Element. Element is excellent for this. No calories, put it in your water. Tastes good. It's got the right amount of sodium. Or here's the big one. If you go low carb. Low carb sucks water and sodium out of your body. You need more sodium on a low carb diet than you do on the same calorie diet with higher carbs. Fact. So you should probably supplement, especially if it's as low carb as keto.
Do you think that you can have some of the adverse effects of low sodium, even with somebody who's hitting like the, minimal RDA of what they need, right? So because they came from such a high sodium diet. So like you got to think that there's got to be some sort of an adaptation process that's happened. Let's say someone has been like lived on fast food or eating out all the time for years. And they've decided to now change and use your example, but make it even crazier.
Yeah.
It's 9,000.
Yeah, just super high.
Super high a day. And then they come down to what will be normally a good dose of sodium, but because it was such a dramatic swing in a reduction in sodium, that they could feel some of the feelings that people with low sodium feel. You think that's possible?
Well, let me ask you this: what's one strategy bodybuilders use to show up on stage with less water under the skin, besides bringing sodium down to zero, not drinking water, all that stupid shit, is increasing water, increasing sodium, and then bring it down to normal right before you go on stage, because your body does adapt. Then you go back down to normal and it sucks. It's like your body has to adjust to it. So yes, that can definitely happen in the short term, but also the RDA for sodium is based off of an unhealthy population. So unhealthy people who don't exercise, don't sweat, right? They're just crappy diet, whatever. That's their recommended amount of sodium. People who are active, exercise, who are healthy, need more sodium. The RDA for sodium is too low for athletes and fit people and healthy people. It's too low for most of us. Fact. So fit, healthy people who you're probably going to perform better and feel better by eating more sodium than what is considered the recommended dose. And there's data, lots of data that supports this. So
that makes sense. I have a good shout out. I've been listening to this podcast. I'm really inconsistent with a lot of random podcasts. There's only a few podcasts that I consistently listen to. We've talked about the All In guys before. I've found a new one that I've been really consistent with, and it's I think David Senra is the host, but it's called Founders. And like each episode, like he does.
You told me about this.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think I have mentioned to you before that you guys would love it. Like he literally does he'll read these autobiographies of these incredible leaders and founders and CEOs and stuff, and then he basically does like a 30-minute or 40-minute like synopsis of their life or their accomplishments or like their principles that made them so great. Just a great way to get like a real high level of people that we've all heard about in history as like these great business leaders and like war hero, like everything that you can think of, he covers. Really, really good podcast. So if you guys haven't checked that out, check that out. I've already like purchased several books because of listening to his podcast.
ButcherBox is a company that delivers grass-fed meats, wild-caught fish, heritage pork to your door. So it's sustainably raised, it's healthy, it's better for you than the conventional stuff, it's better for the environment, better for the animals, they're treated well, and it's also priced very, very well because there's a lot of middlemen that are eliminated. What they do is they deliver a box to your door on a monthly basis. You get your meat. When you're ready to cook it, you defrost it, tastes amazing, and it's good for you. Go check them out. Go to butcherbox.com/mind pump. By the way, there'll be an offer for you on that link. All right, back to the show.
Our first caller is Andrew from Missouri.
Andrew, what's happening, man? How can we help you?
How you guys doing?
We're doing great, dude.
Great, man. How you doing?
Awesome. I'm really, I feel really blessed to be on your show today. I'm really excited. So thanks for taking my question and giving me an opportunity to ask it. I can get right into it if that's good with you guys.
Do it.
Sure.
Real quick, thanks for all the content you guys put out there. There obviously is a lot of misinformation out there, which I stumbled into early on in my journey, but I found you guys and I've been able to stick with a lot of what you guys tell us as far as just the plans. I've got the RGB bundle. I love it. It's been going good. So I just appreciate your down-to-earth content and the way you communicate it. It's awesome.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah. So essentially, I'm 8 months into a 3-year bulk. I'm wanting to really put on some size over the next 3 years, 2.5 years now. I kind of started this journey. I'm 42 years old. I'm 6'4". I'm currently 206. I used to be 300 pounds and 48% body fat.
Whoa.
I got that down in the beginning by I bought a bike. When I got up to 297, I just was like, I'm not going over 300 pounds. I got to fix this. I was wildly out of shape, drinking a lot, just eating whatever I wanted. And so I bought a bike and just started biking to work and trying to just be more fit. I lost about 60 pounds, got down to 240. Felt okay, but I wanted to make a change. And so I decided to add some weight training. I bought V-Shred, the Shredded in 90, on Facebook, that guy.
We'll forgive you.
So I was like, I'm going to give it a try. I ran the 90-day program back to back. I got down to 208, but everybody thought I had cancer. Like they thought I was sick or something. I didn't look healthy. And so that was mainly because I wasn't really putting on a lot of muscle. I was just losing this fat. It's all in my skin's hanging off me and I just didn't look right. So I talked to a neighbor of mine who is a trainer and he does physical therapy and stuff. He gave me a great plan to try out, help me with my macros, help me understand all of that. I got up to 233 with a bulk from 208. Felt great in about 7 months is how long that took. I felt awesome. Decided at that point to get a scan, see where I was at. And I liked where I was at, but I decided I wanted to cut down again and try to cut the fat off, kind of see where I've gone. Got down to 193. I was sub 10% body fat. I was like 9.7. And I really liked the way I felt at 9.7, but I wasn't big. Like I didn't have a lot of muscle. I'm 6'5" or 6'4". And so at 193, I looked kind of thin. So that's when I said, okay, I want to put on muscle. I'm comfortable now. I know I'm not going to balloon up. I'm in control of my diet and exercise. So I spent a month finding maintenance. Last August through September, the entire month of August was just finding maintenance. Got it at 2950, began the bulk. Went hard all fall into winter. Got up to about 208, was feeling great, and decided to have surgery, like right in the middle of it. And so I had lost 110 pounds of body fat, and I had all this loose skin on my stomach. And I was getting really discouraged because I could make gains, I could change things, but that was never going anywhere. And I was getting really depressed about it because I'd worked so hard to get my body where I wanted it to be. So I made a kind of a quick decision and decided to like have it all removed. And so I thought this was going to be like an easy surgery. Like they'll just go in, they'll take it out, and I'll be back in the gym. It didn't really work out that way. I was back a week later, but there was a lot of stuff I couldn't do for about 6 to 8 weeks. And so anyway, I've been 208 basically since March 1st. I did have that surgery. I ate in maintenance during the recovery process. Some days I might go about 100 or 200 under a day in calories just to try to get the fluid out. When you have that surgery, you have to get a lot of all that extra fluid and let the healing take place. Well, now I'm back bulking, and this is where my problem is. I'm currently eating 3,700 to 3,800 calories a day, upwards of 4,000 if I want to push it. And I'm 206.6. Like I am not moving off the 206 to 208 range right now. I'm doing MAPS Performance. I'm in phase 1. My wife and I are working out together, doing it together 3 days a week. I go in 1 or 2 days and do some accessory work to complement that. And that's kind of where we're at right now.
When was the last time you told yourself you're the fucking man?
I try to,
you do
things in perspective.
I was going to say, you do realize what you have accomplished and your challenge that you're having right now, right? That you're super lean and you're eating 3,700 calories and you're having a hard time putting some weight and mass on. Now we're going to answer this and help this, but I just want to put that into perspective for you that you're fucking kicking ass, and what a great place to be for somebody who was almost pushing 300 pounds to now be able to eat 3,800 calories and not put weight on. I mean, that's a good problem that we're trying to solve right now. So, what are you tracking? Like your steps and movement? Do you know what kind of like your burn? I mean, do you have like a lot of? Are you biking a lot still? Like, what's your activity level look like?
No, I actually sold my bike. I got up to biking almost 4 to 5 hours a day. I'd bike like 50 miles, on a ride. And obviously, after listening to you guys, I'm like, I'm not going to put on muscle doing this. So I actually sold my bike. I hit the gym and just dedicated myself to weight training. I would walk a mile every day after I weight train. I've cut that out. I have an office job, so I have a sedentary lifestyle for the most part. Now, I'm an active, busy person, so to speak. I can't sit still very long. So I do go to auctions and I have to walk around the auction quite a bit, or I'll go on an appointment. So I'm not sitting all day. I do get up and move, but I've thought about tracking my steps, but it can't be much. Like I'm not walking anymore.
It would just help with solving this because it's kind of a math problem that we have now, right? It's just getting to the point of like, okay, whether you're doing 2,000 steps or 16,000 steps wouldn't change necessarily where my advice is going. It's more so becoming aware of, okay, this is how much you're moving. This is how much your calorie maintenance is. Now, we just need to know that, oh, wow, on a day, let's say you go to, one of these auctions, there could be a difference of like one day, let's say you're, relatively sedentary, 4,000 steps in a day. And then all of a sudden you have another day that's like 16,000 steps and you were not adjusting the diet because of that. And so that what might be causing your kind of plateau is, you're relatively active, you're training, you're eating around your maintenance or above at 3,700 calories. But then all of a sudden you have a day or two where you're really active and you don't realize that you're actually burning, 4,500 calories on that day. And that's just enough to burn those extra calories and kind of keep you at that plateau. So that insight would help. But I mean, we got to eat more. Is the first step is to bump calories even further. If you're at 3,700 and you're not putting weight on, that means, and by the way, as you continue to let's say you only put on like 3 pounds of muscle, which will feel like you don't see it, right? Which is probably how you feel. But if you added 3 or 4 pounds of muscle, I mean, your body now needs even more calories. So your maintenance is now going up. And so it's kind of this game of you're going to be constantly increasing week over week or every 2 weeks per se. And then the routine you're doing right now, you're following MAPS Performance. Is that what I'm reading correctly, or where are you at right now?
I just came out of anabolic. I spent a long time in anabolic, primarily because the surgery was right in between like phase 2 and 3. And so I kind of had to just, make some adjustments and all of that. I've spent 6 weeks in phase 1 because my wife just joined me. She's never worked out before. She's been a runner and she wanted some change, and she saw the change in me and was like, man, I'll join you and give it a try. She's liking it. In fact, my whole family, I got 3 kids. My 17-year-old son's lifting. My 12-year-old daughter came in. She did some deadlifts and some bench press. My 9-year-old came with us too. This was just yesterday, and did some bench press and stuff. And so it's kind of fun. We're getting the whole family involved, and I like it. But I got to be honest, like, I don't think performance may be necessarily for me. I enjoy it. I enjoy the compound. I like phase 1. I got into phase 2, and I've started practicing these matrix lunges and some of the other movements. I'm like, man, this is not cool. Like, I'm 42. I'm not an athlete, never really have been. And so, like, trying to be athletic at this age, and when I've only been working in one plane, basically, you know what I mean? Just doing the lifts and anabolic and not really
just
doing
alien
a lot.
to you. Yeah. I get it.
Andrew, I'm gonna go a different direction here. So first, let me ask you a couple questions. How's your energy? How's your libido? How's your sleep?
That's what's weird. Everything's fantastic. I can't tell if I'm just like really in an anabolic state right now, or if something else might be wrong.
No.
But like, libido's through the roof.
There's nothing weird.
You're in a really good place.
There's nothing weird. So let me ask you another question.
Fantastic.
Let me ask you a question. What's the problem?
Yeah.
What's the issue here?
So I am trying to get to 230 pounds, 10% body fat. That's the goal.
Okay.
I'm currently 206 at 30%.
Real quick, Andrew. I didn't ask you what your goal is. What's the problem?
With what I've been doing, or kind of why I've called. I guess.
You obviously have. What's your issue? Because you're in an incredible state. I mean, you're doing so well. You're eating 3,700 to 3,800 calories. You've made a transformation that people can only dream about. You got great energy, great libido. The whole family's working out. What's the challenge?
I guess I've tried to apply, like, the challenge is patience, I guess, more than anything. I am putting on muscle at a rate according to my in-body scans, which I use more as a trend, Sal. Like you've said, don't go 100% off what the data is, but at least look at the trends. I'm very much into data. I'm a salesman. I have an insurance agency, so metrics are really important to me. So I've been paying attention to that. And the muscle development's I put on about 3.5 to 4 pounds of muscle in the last like 7 to 8 months. And I'm trying to see if I can't get to like 7 to 10 pounds of muscle a year for the next 3 years. And I'm just kind of concerned that I'm kind of stuck at 206 to 208 these last like 3.5 months. You know, I'm like, guys, I'm eating ice cream. I'm eating like Hostess cakes on top of everything else. Like I'm getting my 230
Everybody's pissed off with you right now.
Andrew, listen. Okay, look. How long were you? Before you lost all this weight, right? You were in a really bad state, real bad health.
Yeah.
Lifestyle completely different. How long was that? How long were you in that state for?
Oh God, I was an alcoholic and addict for 15 years, where that's all I did, man. I just ate, partied, drank, didn't care about anything. And now I'm 4.5 years sober, and it's great. This last 5 years has been awesome. It's just, I feel like I've kind of stalled out. I'm just I want to get push.
We're getting closer to the problem here, okay? Don't pathologize fitness. You're at the next level of your relationship with exercise and nutrition and fitness and a healthy lifestyle. The next phase is self-acceptance, which you still have not gotten to. You've gotten fit, you're healthy, healthier than you've probably been in a long time. You stop those addictive behaviors. You're not drinking, partying, doing that stuff. You got your family working out with you. You're still searching for something. There's nothing wrong with goals, by the way. There's nothing wrong with goals at all. There's everything wrong with the obsession of goals. And you can make exercise a drug. Lots of people do this. Now, I don't think you're overtraining. I think you're doing it intelligently, but I think you're obsessing over the data. You're obsessing over the goal. And I'm telling you this because if you don't start to focus on this, this is going to become an issue for you. for all intents and purposes, you're kicking ass and taking names, like literally.
It's the reason why I started the conversation the way I did.
Yeah,
you need to wake up a little bit and celebrate where the fuck you are right now, bro. You're in a very, very good place.
There is
right now.
nothing you're doing wrong except for the mindset you have around what you're doing. Okay. Everything you're doing is right on paper. If I wrote this all down on paper, your journey, what you've gone, where you came from, where you're at now, you're literally everything's perfect. The thing that the issue is that you're obsessing over these goals. You're searching and chasing these goals. And I'm going to tell you something right now. You're not going to keep hitting goals forever. It just doesn't work that way. It just doesn't work that way. Yeah. So what you're going to need to do, here's the next phase. Okay. You ready for this?
Okay.
I want you to start to enjoy the process for the sake of the process, not the goal. That's the only, that is where you're at right now. Because I'm telling you right now, the path that you're on, although you're in a great place right now and you feel amazing, although you're probably not stopping to smell the roses very often, where you're at is very amazing. If you don't get off this track right now, you're going to be going down a dark path. That's the direction that you're going right now. And I can hear it. What am I doing wrong? I'm eating 3,700 calories. I feel great. I got a great libido. This is weird. What? What do you mean this is weird? This is not weird. This is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. So what you need to start doing is, this is what I want you to do. I want you to start, and I'm going to give you, I'm going to give you the direction that you can go that's going to help you get there, because you're not going to go from where you're at now to all of a sudden loving it for the sake of it and just developing this great, it's a process. Okay. So step one is going to be moving your focus away from weight gain, muscle gain, aesthetics to performance. So I want you to focus on strength, mobility, functionality. Don't worry at all. Don't stop worrying completely about how much muscle you're gaining. Stop worrying about body fat. It says, in fact, stop paying attention to all of that.
Which, by the way, will unlock your goal that you have set out for you.
Yeah.
A lot of times it's just stepping away from that and doing the uncomfortable things that you already mentioned. Like, this is just not what I do. I don't go in other planes. I don't lean into that at all. Like, it's amazing what that's going to do to your body if you give it a chance.
Which is exactly why actually performance is the perfect program for you. But you just need to shift your mindset. The fact that you're struggling, when the longer you stay in this fitness journey, the more you'll start to learn that when you suck at a program, you don't like it, it's probably one of the best things for you. And so
I thought about that.
So what you need to do is embrace the suck, embrace that you're not good at the matrix launch. And instead of being so focused on, I need to add 10 pounds of muscle over the next year, go, I want to get good at these movements. I'm going to get guess what's going to happen as a byproduct, which is what Sal's alluding to. Once you shift your mind away from not worrying about that, eating to feed your body and fuel your body, enjoying the fact that you can have ice cream every now and then and you don't feel like a fat ass from it, enjoying the fact that you've made this huge transformation, and get good at these movements. And what you're going to find as a byproduct, the muscle's going to come on. It's going to happen. It will. Right. But you do got to shift the mindset. You're in a hell of a place, bro.
Here's the key, though. It's gonna happen when you stop caring so much about it happening. That's the key here.
That's the irony of the whole thing.
Look. We've talked about this before on the show many times. If you listen to the podcast, I know you've heard me say this. Fitness, in its truest sense, is a vehicle for personal growth. It's one of the most amazing ones. So, and it's always, you're never going to reach, there's no goal. There is no destination. You're going to get older. You're going to have to accept certain things anyway. You're not going to be able to hit PRs for the rest of your life. Gaining muscle at some point is going to stop. It just is. Otherwise, you have, I'd be 500 pounds of lean body mass by now if that wasn't the case. So right now, your focus is this. You are now at the point, you're at a fork in the road. You've gone down the path of, I need to do this the right way and solve some of these issues that I've come from. And guess what? Congratulations, you did it. You did it. Now you're at a fork in the road. Become obsessed with goals, pathologize fitness, or learn to love the process and develop a different relationship with myself, nutrition, and exercise so that it becomes a practice. This is now, you're at that stage now, the beginning of making this a practice. You've tackled the first part, which is actually extremely challenging. Most people don't even get to where you're at. You've gotten there, but now you're at the next level. And the next level literally is, can I start to learn fitness for the sake of it? Can I learn to love just moving better? Can I learn to function out, to love learning new skills? Exactly. Can I love just the fact that I'm moving? Can I love doing this with my family? And the byproduct of that is you're going to be fit and healthy for the rest of your life. If you don't make this transition, you're gonna run into some roadblocks that are going to be even more challenging than the ones you came from.
There's so many new skills to pursue. That's what I love about fitness. There's so many different avenues that you can approach, and all of them, benefit the whole. So you come back and you do what you originally loved and what you were doing and kicking ass in, and now you just reinforced all that by stepping away from it.
Yeah, and I'm speaking from personal experience, because here's what's going to happen. Here's the next step. Okay, well, we know what the formula is to build more muscle. Okay, get stronger, eat more calories. Let me throw some hormones at this. Let's try some more supplements and peptides. Oops, I hurt myself. What else can I do now? By the way, this is me, Rick, I'm talking about. So you can, and you're going to struggle with this because it's going to be the struggle. But the way out of it is what I'm talking about. And I promise you, the way that what's going to happen is, if you do this the right way, is you're going to relax into it. You're not relaxed into it right now. Right now, it's like, I'm on it. You're going to relax into it, and it's going to become this amazing part of your life. And so I'm glad you called us, because this is a great place to be. It's also a very challenging one. So stick to MAPS Performance. It's the perfect program for you. Start to obsess over the quality of your movement. That's the next step. The next step is, can I move better? Can I improve my mobility? I want you to take your focus off of body composition, take your focus off of how much muscle I'm gaining. Continue with your nutrition, continue down that path. I don't think it's time yet for you to take your mind off that, because I think it's too close. You're too close to where you were, to where it could go in the opposite direction. So go ahead and do what you're doing with your diet for now. But at some point, you're going to take your gaze off that as well. But for now, stop focusing on how much muscle you're gaining. Stop focusing on your aesthetics. Stop focusing on body fat percentage. Focus on quality of movement. Focus on strength. Focus on enjoying it for the sake of enjoying it. And then that's going to take you to the next phase. And you're going to love it. You're going to love it when you get there.
Andrew, are you on Facebook?
I am. I only use it for Marketplace, though, for the most part.
You just need to have an account. I'm gonna have Doug add you into the forum so we can keep an eye on you.
Yep.
And keep
awesome. Let us walk through as you get to every challenge, tag us.
Yes.
Tell us what's happening. I'm going to have to give you a pep talk like this every other month.
This won't be the last time we have to remind you this.
A couple slaps and send you on your
Give us some updates every other month or so, okay?
Okay, that sounds good, guys. Thank you.
All right, you got it, man. Thanks for calling in, brother. I tell you,
it's the reason why I started. The very first thing I said, bro, when's the last time did you just hear yourself? And then you added, and then after he went on another tangent, talk about his wife now, his kids now. I'm like, bro, you were
That's why I asked him about his sleep, libido, and energy.
No,
just in case. And he's like, no, everything's great. That's weird. Why is it so weird? Like, what do you mean it's weird?
I know.
By the way, I want to say this too, for everybody watching and listening, because we're obviously here helping people. We oftentimes talk to ourselves on the show. We've been through this ourselves. It's a never-ending journey. Trainers train other people better than they train themselves. Yeah. So when I'm hearing out of his mouth, I hear myself tell myself in my own mind. So I in other words, this is not easy. This is very challenging. That it's very alluring to go down that dark path with fitness and turning it into something that it shouldn't be.
You can get obsessed easy, especially if you've had great results, and you can easily turn it into something that's a negative. Which totally, I'm glad you pointed that out.
Well, especially let me add to this, that type of an avatar, meaning he's a small percentage of people, that actually have this kind of success, right? That have this tremendous of a transformation. That's a very small percentage. And many times those people that had other addictive behaviors, part of the reason why they had all this crazy transformation is they learned to shift
100%.
Those crazy addictive behaviors.
They hyper focus on that.
And they took that same energy and mindset and they put it towards something healthy, better for, which by the way is a great.
It's the better of the options there, for sure.
To Sal's point, you got to move from now. You got to get away from that, and now you got to move because you're at another fork right now. Otherwise, even if we gave you the perfect mathematical formula to hit his 230-pound sub 10% goal, he would still be in this situation. And what a great point to go, this is where it leads to, what peptide can I take, or what steroid can I take, or what, because you're so focused now on that goal and you're willing to do anything to go overcome that obstacle.
Yeah, and it's like you can totally, some people can totally relate to the fact that when you focus that much, like it's really hard to step back and realize what you've accomplished. And I think that's just something I always, even myself, have to remind myself to focus on that.
Yeah, fitness should not cause anxiety and stress and clutter, but it will if you pathologize it. Now, if you treat it right and you develop a good relationship with it, it is anxiolytic, it is anti-stress. It declutters your life. But this is a constant back and forth, especially for those of us who work in the fitness space, and the reason why you work in the fitness space is it probably solves some bigger problems for you. But now there's other problems in front of you. So, no, I'm glad he called. I'm glad he called because I know there's people watching and listening who heard him and are waiting for us to give him the answer to gain that extra, 5 pounds of muscle,
Our next caller is Ahmed from Georgia.
Ahmed, what's happening, man? How can we help you?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good. How are you guys? Wow.
Very good.
We're good, man.
Very
Great,
good.
dude.
I'm gonna start by saying I'm a big fan of the show. Everyone, Sal, Adam, Justin, Doug, huge fan.
Thank you.
Thank you, man.
Let's start with a bit of background info. So, growing up, I was a very chunky kid. Very chunky. Loved to eat, and as soon as my teenage year rolls up, I think of losing a bit of weight because I was very overweight. I go to the gym, don't know much, work out, cut my calories drastically, lost a lot of weight, doing a lot of fat stuff shown on the internet, had no idea. 2019, I come to the United States and there was a bit off on my gym workout and diet, so I gained all the weight back and a bit more. 2021, when I start going back to the gym, I was 324 pounds, needed to lose a lot of weight, pandemic and food. So I started doing it again, started working out. This time I knew a bit about calories and everything because of all the research and all. So slowly down weight, and started my journey. I go to 245 pounds. And then I had to stop for a while because of a short injury during the lift. So I was off for the gym for at least 4 to 5 months from January to June. And that's when I found out you guys and life changed. I got MAPS Anabolic and MAPS Prime. I started following them, and that was the first time when I started seeing a bit of definition in my body because I was losing weight. I was just going down on waist, but I didn't have any definition. That's when I started seeing a bit of definition using MAPS Anabolic, and from then I kept running MAPS Anabolic, and currently I'm 195 pounds. I took 2 to 3 maintenance breaks in between that time, and so the weight loss was low, but I felt good as I have gotten from the podcast to focus on muscle building and resistance training. So that's when I break to start off my loading and everything. And now I was back on the journey again. No injuries this time, no nothing. But the problem is I'm losing weight, but I'm not seeing any more definition or any change in the mirror like I did the first time when I ran MAPS Anabolic. My delts, for some reason, has shrunk. The definitions that I had while I was 230 or 218, they're not there anymore. I'm losing a lot of weight, but it just feels like that I'm shrinking. The definitions are not showing up. I don't know what's happening anymore. And I have loose skin because I lost a lot of weight. It's not a lot of loose skin, but I still have them. The problem is, what should I do from here? I don't know what to do anymore because there's no definition. Whenever I lost weight now, I just feel like that I'm shrinking. It's, the body fat is still there. That's what I think of when I, look around the mirror and everything.
Okay, Ahmed, the pictures that you sent us, is that a before and after?
The before was when I was 224, and the after is 195.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, first of all,
Yeah.
incredible
Yeah.
Great job.
transformation. Not only did you
Thank
lose
you.
a lot of body fat, you built a tremendous amount of muscle. Now, what you're saying is that at 208, you felt like you had more definition than at 190, whatever you're at now?
Yes, 213, 208, that's when I had most definitions. I had big delts. It was lower biceps, but I felt like I was more defined on 213, 208.
Are you weaker than you were at 230? Like, did you lose strength?
I feel like it. I am more tired now than I was before.
Well, okay. Objectively speaking, Ahmed, objectively speaking, because I want to know what the numbers are. Are you lifting less weight on your main lifts, or are you just, because you're commenting on your energy, but is your actual weight in the gym, what you're working out with, did that go down?
Bench, squat, deadlift, your major lifts.
My squats didn't go down. My bench went down by 10 pounds, and deadlifts are quite the same.
I'll tell you what's going on here.
You're good, bro.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what's going on right now. What's really interesting about what you're feeling and what you're going through is it's more mental than actually physical. You're doing a great job. You're actually probably just fine. When I was cutting for my first show, I remember how one of the most challenging parts was the mental fuck of feeling like I was losing muscle, I was getting smaller, because you're in a calorie deficit. You got to understand that your muscles fill up of glycogen and water mostly. And if we're in a deficit and you're trying to cut, that it pulls all that out. In the bodybuilding world, we call this a flat look. And what happens is you look like you lose muscle because the muscle bellies are not filled out like they were when you were eating in a surplus or you're at a higher weight. And so even though you're doing the right things because you're maintaining strength, which is a huge indicator that you're not losing a bunch of muscle, you're in a calorie restriction for a period of time, you're going to be depleted, and you look depleted. And it's a lot of times it's not normal or it's not uncommon to actually get a little weaker too. So the fact that you've been able to hold your bench and your squat relatively close to what you were before, you're probably not losing muscle. You're just kind of depleted right now. One of the things I like to do to kind of like reassure myself this is go on a little mini bulk. So reverse, go the other direction for a little bit. Put yourself on a week or 2 weeks of eating in a calorie surplus and pay attention to how you feel in your workouts and how you look. And many times what you'll realize is like, oh, wow. Like instantly you'll see the shift of like, I already feel like I look way better. And that's because you just filled the muscle bellies up. You just fill them all up, and that will make you look like you have more definition. If think of it like a balloon, right? If you have like a water balloon, if it has no water in it, it's going to look all kind of flat looking. That's what your muscle bellies look like. You load it up with a bunch of carbohydrates and water, it stretches out. Now all of a sudden you have definition, and it wasn't like you got leaner. It's just that you filled the muscle bellies out. So this happens for a lot of people when they're in a extended period of time where they're cutting. Is they get to this point now where it's like, oh, wow, I don't feel like I look as good as I did when I had 10 pounds more on me.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that you went down in weight and your strength really didn't suffer is actually a pretty damn good sign. Are you low carbohydrate with your diet?
I was low carbohydrate. I try to cut out carbs a lot sometimes because every time I take carb, I get a bit bloated. Currently, my carb intake is like 160 grams something. Okay. 160.
Yeah, I mean, cutting carbs will make your muscles look flat for sure. I bet if you did a little mini bulk within a week, you'd be like, wow, there's a definition. There's the muscle fullness that I had before. I mean, you could do that. I would recommend doing like a short bulk for like 3 or 4 weeks, maybe 300 calories, 400 calories above maintenance, just to give you that assurance of, okay, I feel good. You'll watch your strength go up, and then you can go back on the cut. But you're literally crushing.
Yeah, you're doing
like kicking ass. Yeah. Your before and after is
phenomenal.
Like I could sell things with that. That's how remarkable that looks.
Yeah. Have you been sticking with whole foods in your diet as well, like for the most part?
Oh wow! So my breakfast, it's 150 grams of fruits, peanut butter, whey protein, toast and egg, boiled chicken and rice. I have a very bad habit with food, so I got into the boiled chicken rice thing very young, and I try to eat as much as whole food possible. I don't really do the junk foods.
Okay,
everything of high protein.
Ahmed,
I just was wondering about his sodium intake.
Yeah, do you like the taste of boiled chicken?
I got used to it.
Okay, so no, that's a no. You know, if you just switch to chicken thighs and some red meat, that would give you the calorie bump that we're talking about. Do that for like 3-4 weeks, and you'll see your strength and muscle fullness go up. So literally, you could take your boiled chicken, whatever it is, probably breast, based off what you're saying, and I would go to like steak. So you have some extra calories from the fat. Or like thighs, you have some extra calories from the fat, and that'll do what we're kind of talking about.
Are you using creatine right now?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Good.
So that'll help with the.
I mean, I'd
Yeah, that's good.
go on a little mini bulk for like 4 weeks, and I think you'll be very happy
Yeah.
with what's going on. But otherwise, like you're like kicking ass, dude. You're like literally like phenomenal, doing a great job.
When you start to get down to where you're at, which is in really good shape, and now you're kind of looking for the next level of shape, right? That's what you're searching for. There's this it's more than anything, at least in my opinion. It's a mind fuck.
Totally.
It's a trip what goes on with the mind when you're cutting like that, and you're heading the right direction, but what you see in the reflection sometimes it distorts what's really going on.
Yeah.
You're probably doing a phenomenal job and you're just fine. You're just at this kind of awkward phase of you're not quite as shredded as you want to be, but then you're also having to deplete and cut, and so your muscle bellies aren't as full, so you don't look as impressive as what you did when you were 10 pounds heavier. But one of the best ways to check that is, like we're saying, go on a bulk for 2 or 3 weeks and see how you look. And I bet you probably feel up. Now that doesn't mean stay on the bulk forever because you feel better because of that. It's going to
show you.
It's just showing you what we're talking about. Like, oh, this is what the guys meant. Like now I'm all filled out. Now I feel
look
good.
like you have more definition.
Yeah. So stay in there for a little bit and then go back down again.
Yeah.
And
How long have you been doing MAPS Anabolic now?
I have been running MAPS Anabolic since 2022 June.
let's switch that up too.
No. Let's go MAP Symmetry. I'm gonna send you MAP Symmetry. So go ahead and finish out whatever phase you're in, and then do MAP Symmetry. I think it's time that you do unilateral stuff because anabolic is very bilateral.
Phase 2, week 3. Thank you very much. And every information that you guys give are phenomenal. And for you guys, I didn't really focus on cardio at all for fat loss. And I got huge results because cardio, for me, I think it's overrated to focus on fat loss. And it's worth it. Whenever I tried cardio, I did for a week. I lost a lot of weight. And as soon as I stopped doing a bit of cardio, I jumped way back. So, yeah, cardio was not a thing. Then I got the information from you guys, and it saved me a lot of time in the gym because I'm active. Thank you. Thank you very
awesome.
much.
We know what we're talking about, man. Yeah, appreciate you calling, and we'll send you MAP Symmetry, okay?
Thanks, Ahmed.
Thanks for listening, dude.
What a crazy before and after.
Yeah, he looks great.
I mean, that is a remarkable.
Totally a mind thing, though, right?
100%.
I mean, that
100%.
To this day, so I used to like intentionally hoodie up and not look at myself because it would mess with me that much. And a lot of people don't understand what a difference all that water and carbohydrates can make in the look. And the leaner and the more in shape you get, the more that makes a difference. So when he was 220 something pounds and still probably 20% body fat or more, that doesn't make that big of a difference. And him just getting smaller is going to make him look more defined and leaner. But then you start to get to where he's at, where he's in good shape, and now he's looking for elite shape. And that transition of staying in a depleted state for an extended period of time, it flattens you out. And then you think, oh my God, I'm doing this all. I mean, as a young kid, I wish I understood this because this is what always kept me from getting in premium shape. Is because I would start doing this and I would freak out that I was just losing muscle and I was looking worse, and then I would go back again.
100%. In fact, it isn't until I get shredded that I start like really paying attention. Because then when you're really shredded, then that's what motivates you.
Right.
But when I'm around like 12, 13% body fat and I go in a cut,
it's an awkward.
It's totally mind screw. 100%.
Our next caller is Sean from Washington, D.C.
Sean, what's happening? How can we help you?
Hey guys, thanks for having me on.
You got it.
Just could start with my question here and then give a little bit of background. So I'm transitioning to a new job after graduating from my MBA program, and I want to shift to a more balanced routine that prioritizes resistance training and lifting instead of swimming, which is what I've been doing, and with my goal continuing to build muscle and strength. So how much should I adjust my caloric intake, if at all, on days where I lift versus where I swim? Should it just be kept consistent across all days, or only higher on days where I swim? Or I could just be overthinking this entirely.
You are overthinking a little bit.
Yeah. And so now for background, I mean, you wrote that you were super high level water polo. I mean, including Olympic development. So your work capacity is insane. For people who don't know, training for water polo, you're in the pool for hours and hours and hours and hours.
How many calories do you think you burn?
Right now or back then?
Oh geez. Well, back then you probably couldn't keep weight on, right? You had to just eat tremendous amounts.
Yeah, I mean, right now, so actually I started like a lean bulk since September going into about April this year. Went from about 140 pounds to what I'm at now, about 150 to 155 with strength gains through then. So that was on about 3,200 to 3,500 calories per day. So wanting to, but realize just my latest regimen hasn't been the most balanced and realistic now that I'm going to be working full time instead of as a student. So I was just wondering on the caloric intake side of things as I shift my workout routine, what the best path would be.
It's going to be really hard for us to tell you like a number without you kind of going through it and then paying attention, right? So obviously, if let's just say let's keep you at 3,700 calories and on average a day for the week, and it doesn't matter up or down. You can go higher days, lower days, whatever. And then the real truth is we want to look at over the course of 2 or 3 weeks, did you dramatically lose weight? Did you increase weight? Did you maintain? And then from there, I'm going to make my adjustments as a coach, like trying to guess what you need to do calorie wise up or down until you start. Because here's the other thing too about, even though that's super high level, your body was probably very adapted to it because you've been probably doing it for years of your life. And so even though you're dramatically cutting out all this activity, it may not be as big of a caloric difference as we think until we start this process. And so really, I would just tell you to kind of track and be mindful for, about 3 to 4 weeks while we kind of figure this out, whether we need to adjust dramatically up or down. But really hard for us to try and guess like, hey, this is what I'd have you do.
Like you could probably tread water, eat a sandwich, and read a book at the same time.
Chew gum,
So look, for the listeners, I'm looking at what you have been doing and where you want to go. So what you've been doing, correct me if I'm wrong, is swimming 7 days a week for 75 minutes a session. Okay, so every day. On top of that, 3 to 4 days a week of lifting. On top of that, 12 to 15,000 steps. And then you average 6.5 hours of sleep every night, correct? Okay.
Yep, that's all right.
Now the goal is you want to gain muscle. So you're going to move to 4 to 5 days a week of lifting and then swimming on your off days. So you're not going to swim and lift on the same day. So you'll lift 4 days a week and then swim 3 days a week or something like that, right?
Yeah, more often than not, because I realized what I was doing wasn't that necessarily the most sustainable or conducive for that goal.
And the goal is to gain muscle. That's your goal.
Yeah, so just realized I've been underweight and for way too long and just need to fix that.
Okay. I'm going to tell you to do 2 things and you're going to pack on muscle like crazy for 2 reasons. One, at that level of athlete, when you compete at that level, you just have really good genetics. So, I mean, I can even take a super high level endurance athlete, and then take them off their training, put them on lifting weights, and they just build muscle. Maybe not like a bodybuilder, but better than the average person. So you've got really good genetics working for you. So if we just reduce your crazy amount of training, keep your calories the same.
Yeah.
Okay. I wouldn't lower your calories at all. You're not going to gain body fat. You're going to build a shit ton of muscle.
Yeah.
And then here's the second thing I want you to do. I want you to get more sleep. 6.5 hours a night you can get away with, but it is far from optimal. So what I would do is I would aim for just try and go to bed an hour earlier or wake up an hour later if possible, and on a consistent basis. By the way, just doing that.
Sal, what do you think about him doing MAPS 15?
Well, here's what I would. I mean, we could go this direct. He's so fit. He's so fit and so active. Here's what I would do. I would have you not lift 5 days a week. I'd have you do 3 full body workouts, swim 2 days a week, take 2 days a week off. Okay, now that doesn't mean you can't go out and hike and do shit like that, but I wouldn't work out 2 days a week. Take 2 days a week off. 5 days a week you're working out. 3 of them are lifting. 2 days are swimming. So 3 full body workouts a day. 2 days a week of swimming. Keep your calories the same. Get 7.5 hours of sleep every night instead of 6.5, and you're probably going to gain 15. I'd say probably 15 pounds of muscle in like 3 to 6 months. Is probably what's going to happen.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it could be tough. I know mentally for me to take rest days has been difficult. So, but I mean, if based on what you guys are saying, I trust what you guys are saying. So
he's right.
Yeah.
But the hardest thing normally is for the athletes is to adhere to that. That's because you want to do more. It's the athlete in you. You got to be patient. You can't expect it to be overnight, and you got to trust the process. So the most difficult part for you will not be, can you do those workouts? You can do those probably in your sleep. It's going to be, can you discipline yourself to not try and do more, thinking that more is better.
Yeah, I would have you do MAPS Anabolic, do those routines, do the 3 day a week option, follow it as it's laid out, On the off days, go ahead and do your swimming like you've been doing, your 75 minutes, that's fine. Don't change your calories. So whatever you're eating, keep eating, and get more sleep. And you're going to get strong as hell, like way stronger. You're going to see your strength go way up, and you're going to gain muscle very, very rapidly. I would bet money that you would gain anywhere between 12 to 15 pounds of lean body mass within that period of time.
Are you good about, just out of curiosity, what, your personality type when you lift? Can you sit still for the 3-minute rest period and stuff like that? Or are you the type of person that starts doing abs and starts doing a bunch of other shit and you cut your rest periods?
You get about progressive overload and like taking your time through that. And
tell me who you are.
Yeah, I mean, in the past, I would have been me, but I've run MAPS Anabolic a lot now.
Okay.
At least a few times. Okay. And so I've really grown to value the rest periods, especially during phase 1. During phase 2, phase 3, I'd actually go a little bit longer just because I want to be able to get the volume in. But so yeah, I'll just continue with MAPS Anabolic, and I do have MAPS Performance, so
we
I
can
can alternate.
What about powerlift?
Yeah, powerlift.
Yeah, I was thinking powerlift the whole
the fact that he's already ran anabolic.
Exactly, you're pretty experienced with anabolic. I would go powerlift.
MAPS powerlift would be good. MAPS strong would be good. All of those would work.
If he did
his work capacity is already ridiculous.
I would cut
I want him to slow down.
Yeah, powerlift would be good. Let's send you powerlift. That's a good call.
Okay.
Yeah,
I actually have powerlift already.
Okay. Look, just to hammer this home. Okay, if you changed nothing right now and just took 2 days off, you'd gain 5 pounds of muscle. Literally, that's it. If you just did, if you did nothing,
sleep and
if you didn't
relax.
if you changed nothing and just took 2 days off a week, you would gain probably 5 pounds of lean body mass within a month.
All right. Yeah. I mean, I've gotten used to waking up at 4:15 for like a previous job and for school, so my body just doesn't naturally at this point. But yeah, I'll do my best to get some more sleep.
Good. Yeah, that'll make a big difference.
Yep,
for sure. And you're just you're one of those people. You're high functioning, high performance. You said you're doing what, MBA?
Yeah, I just graduated, so I'm starting a new job now.
Yeah, so you get away with a lot more than other people, and you function at a pretty high level. And that's what that's done is that's created the illusion of this is what's optimal. But you're actually far from optimal. You're closer to what you can tolerate. You move down towards what's optimal, and you're going to unlock some serious gains and potential. You'll actually notice your cognitive performance improve, and everything else will improve as well.
And probably the sleep will naturally come up too.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I guess I'd never really known better just based on my past experience, but I trust you guys, so I'll put that in my routine now.
Hey, let us know how it goes.
Yeah. Circle back with us in a couple months because I'd love to hear how things go.
If you follow what we say, it's going to be pretty fun.
I bet you. Yeah, your mind will be blown.
All right. Yeah. Appreciate you guys taking time with me today and answering those questions.
You got it, man.
All right, Sean.
All right, man.
All right, have a good one, guys.
You too.
You know what? Here's what's interesting about certain sports. Okay, because people will say, "Oh, if you do water polo or if you wrestle or whatever, it gets you so crazy fit." Yes, but here's the other part of it. There's a self-selection bias where genetically speaking, some people could just tolerate more of a beatdown. Yeah. And those are the people that end up sticking around because everybody else falls off.
Yeah, that's those two sports you mentioned, probably the highest calorie burning initially, right? And then you made the point that you're adapted to that. And so now it's like you're in a whole different category.
Bro, they train twice. Typically they practice. This is high school polo. We're not even talking college it's twice a day they're in the pool. Twice a day.
And normally guys that are that high level like that too, they wear the suffering thing as a badge of honor.
Sure.
So like that's kind of like
they have a different relationship with it.
They do. It's like I can fucking take it.
This feels good.
And so getting that person. But I mean, I love that he's already listened to the show long enough that he's been running out. I knew that's why like he has the personality of rest periods or ab crunches and jumping jacks and push-ups and other shit like that because he could just handle that shit. But he's already been listening and starting to like cut back on that. So he'll be all right. It'd be cool to see what this kid does because he could pack on some serious muscle if he just cuts back.
Totally.
Our next caller is Hannah from Tennessee.
Hannah, how's it going? How can we help you?
Hey guys. First, I just want to say y'all have truly changed my life, my relationship with diet and exercise. I heard about you guys via the Dr. John Deloney show. So it hasn't even been like, I think a year. And I mean, y'all know, Sal, you were on that show and it was like a light switch went off for me. And I realized for over 20 years, I've been dieting and exercising to punish myself. And I mean, it truly flipped a switch where I have been able to go, okay, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm going to take care of myself by how I eat. I'm going to take care of myself by how I exercise. Anyway, so that was just like the intro to me or to Mind Pump for me. And I just started binging Mind Pump content. And I like to tell people my husband and I both have drank the Kool-Aid. We're like all in. He asked for a PRX, home gym for Christmas. We're in. We're new and we're in.
Oh, I love it.
So anyway, my question for y'all, I began with starter and then I did MAPS 15. And then that time is when we got our home gym. So my husband was like, you got to do MAPS 20. That way you can start, using the barbell. And so I did MAPS 20. I loved it. I'm on my second round now of MAPS 20. And basically I just want to know, like, what do I do next? My issue is that I am a mom. I work part-time. I'm in school part-time. So I love to work out Monday through Friday, and Saturdays I'll do. It's not my favorite. I don't want to work out Sundays. So like 5-6 days a week for under 30 minutes, 30 minutes or under. But like, that's the time I have. I really want to do anabolic, but I didn't know if I can even, can I manipulate that to be 30 minutes a day for about 6 days?
You could split it.
Yeah, you could easily do that.
I actually do that a lot. I love doing anabolic like a split. So it's a 3-day-a-week program. And then you can literally cut the workout in half and then do it on the next day like that.
Yeah, dude, I would do the first half one day, second half the next day. And so now you have 6 days a week, basically. No problem.
And then just not do the trigger sessions?
Yeah, no, you don't have to do them. I mean, if you could follow it as laid out, that's great. Yeah. But I mean, look, at the end of the day,
or one later on in the day, maybe
you could. But at the end of the day, the routine that you can do consistently that works with you is going to be the best workout. Yeah. So this is going to be the best option for you. So MAPS Anabolic, half Monday, half Tuesday, half Wednesday, and just go till Saturday. And you're totally set. But this is wonderful. I love hearing this. But did you wrote in your question too that is it your husband and you both work for the Ramsey team?
And my husband works for the Ramsey team.
Oh,
yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Did we see you guys at the event? We were over there up in Tennessee.
I was upstairs with Cody Bennett, and he was like, "Hannah, they're the Mind Pump guys." He he knew I was a big fan, so he pointed y'all out to me. But no, I didn't get to meet y'all there.
Oh, bummer. Awesome. Too bad. Love Cody. Too.
Yeah, next time. But yeah, no, that's it. Yeah. That's 100% it. You can do that. Okay. Then from there, you can go to MAPS Performance, and you can do the same thing with MAPS Performance. You can take the foundational workouts and break them in half. And then if you have extra time, throw in those mobility sessions. And there you go, MAPS Performance, MAPS right after MAPS Anabolic. And then from there, we have all kinds of different programs you can kind of play with. But I mean, that's great. Awesome. Yeah. How's your results been so far following our program? How's it been? How's your body been responding? How do you feel?
Honestly, I feel really great. I've lost inches, I've lost weight. I've plateaued a little bit weight scale wise, but I know that some of that is just body fat still going down, muscle mass, going up. I mean, honestly, I'm thrilled. I've worked out truly for 20 years. I've done everything. But not lifting, not heavy weights. I was doing, super low weight, super high reps type stuff. And I've never loved working out more.
Isn't that funny? Isn't that funny? You switch from caring for yourself and all of a sudden you get the results you were trying to get when you were doing it the other way.
Stop fighting your body, right? Working with your body.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And so the big thing for me, I want to burn fat. That's kind of my immediate goal. But long-term goal, I want to gain strength. And so I think that even too was such a huge shift for me. Instead of I just want to be thin. I want to lose. I have 3 babies in 3.5 years. I'm trying to get what that did to me off of my body. And just the thought of no, I just want to be a 55-year-old who can do pull-ups, unassisted. Yeah. That's what I want to do.
Yeah, that's awesome. Are you hitting your protein targets? Are you hitting the optimal amount of protein? Because that's the biggest thing I think on the other end.
Yeah, I shoot for 130 to 140.
Yep.
I was for a while counting the collagen in my coffee, and then I realized that shouldn't count towards my protein goal. So anyway, so it's probably more 130. But
no, you're on fire. Yeah, you are on fire. I appreciate this call. Do you have MAPS Anabolic, or can we send that to you?
Yeah, we do. My husband bought I don't remember what it's called, MAPS bundle. It's Anabolic Performance. Something else, I don't know.
Okay.
Anyway,
can I give you something, Hannah? I want to give you something. I like you.
Please.
You want something?
Yes, please.
All right. Any
symmetry?
Do you have MAP symmetry?
Yeah.
I don't think so. Would that have come in the in
No,
that bundle?
no.
Great one in anybody's toolbox.
No, we don't have
Need it.
symmetry.
Yeah.
All right, we'll send that over to you.
Thank you. That's awesome.
Yeah, thanks for calling in, Hannah.
Yeah, really appreciate you guys.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Bye, y'all.
Take care.
All right.
Did we like filter like people who are kicking ass for today's episode?
I think
Every
we
single
did.
person.
It's like,
Everybody's just crushing.
Yeah.
Every single person
I
calling
know. It
in.
was just a bunch of high fives today.
oh yeah, all we need to do is just give them a little back rub and send them on their way.
I know. You know, I love hearing that because for people
Those
listening,
are the best, dude.
well, people listening, like, here's somebody. She didn't go from beginner, like, she didn't go from not working out to working out.
that's why I love hearing these.
She went from working out from 20 years and then changing it to what we say, and then boom, everything happens. So this works.
That's
everybody.
more. That's more impressive than somebody who hasn't done anything, and then you get them going in what we're telling.
Yeah,
them
you
to.
expect to change.
Exactly.
Right?
Like
Yeah.
by default, you're changing results because if you were sitting on the couch eating potato chips, not doing anything, and all of a sudden you start doing anything, even you could do a damn Beachbody program, you'll start to see some results. So it's less impressive. But when you got somebody who's been trying and grinding for 20 years at lifting weights and done everything under the sun,
Yep.
and then all of a sudden makes that one switch, and then all of a sudden, boom, like feeling the best she's ever felt. That's amazing.
Ladies and gentlemen, it works. Look, if you like Mind Pump, but you hate the fitness industry, because they lie to you, here's what you got to do. Go to askmindpump.com. Ask any fitness question. That is an AI model that only answers questions based on our episodes. So the information is correct and accurate. You want to sift through all the garbage? Askmindpump.com. You can also find all of us on social media. Justin is on Instagram at MindPumpJustin. I'm on Instagram at MindPumpDeStefano. And Adam is on Instagram at MindPumpAdam.
They're taking our jobs.